Christmas in the 1970s, a time when everything felt just a little bit more magical. From the twinkling tinsel on the tree to the sound of holiday music crackling from the record player, it was a decade of unique traditions and, of course, unforgettable meals. Our mothers didn't just cook, they created feasts that made the holiday feel like an event straight out of a storybook. Let's take a walk down memory lane and revisit the Christmas dishes that defined the 70s and maybe even made your childhood a little brighter. Show-stopping ham. No Christmas dinner in the 70s was complete without a glazed ham. Glazed with brown sugar, pineapple, and a cherry on top, it was the centerpiece of the table. Mothers took pride in arranging the pineapple rings in perfect circles, creating a ham that looked as good as it tasted. Do you remember the smell of it baking in the oven, filling the house with warmth and sweetness? Ambrosia salad. This salad was a sweet staple made with canned fruit, mini marshmallows, shredded coconut, and a dollop of whipped cream. It was colorful, fun, and an absolute hit with kids. Whether served as a side dish or dessert, it always brought a bit of tropical flair to the winter table. Did your family have their own twist on this retro favorite? Green bean casserole. Topped with crispy fried onions, green bean casserole was a classic side dish that no 70s Christmas could go without. Made with cream of mushroom soup and green beans from a can, it was simple, satisfying, and oh so creamy. Do you remember digging into a warm serving while sneaking some fried onions off the top? If you're loving this trip down memory lane, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'd love to share more nostalgic Christmas memories with you. Cheese balls and crackers. The 70s were all about the cheese ball, a blend of cream cheese, cheddar, and spices rolled into a sphere and coated with nuts. Served with Ritz crackers or Triscuits, it was the perfect appetizer to nibble on while waiting for dinner. Who remembers trying to sneak a cracker loaded with cheese when no one was looking? Jell-O molds. No 70s. Christmas was complete without a colorful Jell-O mold on the table. Sometimes it was savory with veggies and mayonnaise, a bit questionable now, and sometimes it was fruity with whipped cream and fruit chunks. They came in every shape imaginable, thanks to those fancy molds. Did your mom ever create a Jell-O masterpiece that became the talk of Christmas dinner? Deviled eggs. Deviled eggs were a must-have appetizer at Christmas gatherings. Mothers would whip up the creamy filling with mayonnaise, mustard, and a sprinkle of paprika on top for flair. They were arranged beautifully on a special platter, and no one could resist popping one or three into their mouth before dinner. Did you have a favorite way to eat these holiday treats? Mashed potatoes and gravy, the ultimate comfort food. Mashed potatoes were whipped to fluffy perfection, swimming in buttery gravy. Moms in the 70s knew how to make this classic side dish shine, whether it was with a little extra cream or a touch of garlic. Do you remember the joy of piling your plate high with potatoes, just to drown them in gravy? Fruitcake. Love it or hate it, fruitcake was a Christmas tradition in the 70s. Packed with candied fruit, nuts, and spices, it was dense, sweet, and often served with a dollop of whipped cream. Some families baked their own, while others relied on store-bought versions. Did your family embrace fruitcake, or was it more of a look but don't eat situation? Holiday cookies galore. The cookie trays in the 70s were a sight to behold. Sugar cookies shaped like stars and trees, gingerbread men decorated with colorful icing, and thumbprint cookies filled with jelly. Baking cookies was often a family affair, with kids rolling out dough and adding sprinkles. Do you remember sneaking warm cookies off the tray before they were fully cooled? Eggnog. Whether homemade or store-bought, eggnog was the quintessential holiday drink. Creamy, rich, and spiced with nutmeg, it was served in festive glasses that felt oh so fancy. Adults often added a splash of rum or brandy, while kids enjoyed the non-alcoholic version. Did your family have a special recipe for eggnog? Turkey with all the trimmings. For families who preferred turkey over ham, Christmas dinners featured a golden brown bird surrounded by stuffing, cranberry sauce, and gravy. The stuffing was often cooked inside the turkey, with a mix of bread cubes, herbs, and sometimes sausage or apples. Do you remember sneaking bites of crispy stuffing from the edges before it hit the table? Sweet potato casserole. This 70s classic was topped with either gooey marshmallows or crunchy pecans, and sometimes both. Sweet, creamy, and oh so rich, it was a dessert disguised as a side dish. Who else remembers digging into the marshmallow topping and finding the buttery sweet potatoes underneath? Shrimp cocktail. As a starter, shrimp cocktail added a touch of sophistication to 70s Christmas dinners. Served in fancy glassware with a dollop of tangy cocktail sauce, it felt glamorous and festive. Did you ever try to sneak an extra shrimp when no one was looking? Meatloaf with a holiday twist. Meatloaf wasn't just an everyday dinner. It was dressed up for Christmas with a glaze of ketchup or barbecue sauce, and sometimes even shaped like a wreath. It was hearty, comforting, and a crowd pleaser for any family gathering. Do you remember helping your mom mix the ingredients with her hands in a giant bowl? Parker House rolls. Soft, buttery, and irresistible. Parker House rolls were a staple on Christmas tables. Served warm and slathered in butter, they were perfect for sopping up gravy or making mini sandwiches with leftover turkey or ham. How many rolls could you sneak before anyone noticed? Cheese fondue. Fondue was all the rage in the 70s, and Christmas was the perfect time to break out the fondue pot. Moms melted cheese with wine and served it with chunks of bread, veggies, and even sausages for dipping. It was a communal dish that brought everyone together. Did your family have a favorite fondue recipe? Waldorf salad. This fruit and nut salad, made with apples, celery, walnuts, and mayonnaise, was a retro favorite on Christmas tables. Some families added grapes or raisins, giving it a sweet twist. It was refreshing and crunchy, a lighter side dish among the heavier holiday fare. Do you remember seeing this in a fancy glass bowl on the table? Baked Alaska for dessert. Baked Alaska was a showstopper. Layers of cake and ice cream were covered in meringue and baked until golden. It was as much a performance as it was a treat, with everyone watching in awe as it came out of the oven. Did your family ever attempt this impressive dessert? Scalloped potatoes. Rich, cheesy, and baked to perfection, scalloped potatoes were a favorite side dish during the holidays. Thinly sliced potatoes were layered with cream, cheese, and onions, then topped with breadcrumbs for a crispy finish. Do you remember the bubbling sound of this dish as it came out of the oven? Punch bowls with floating fruit rings. No Christmas party was complete without a punch bowl filled with bright, fruity punch. Moms often made ice rings with slices of citrus or maraschino cherries frozen inside, turning the punch into a centerpiece. It was sweet, tangy, and always a hit. Did your family go for classic red punch, or did you have a unique recipe? Glazed carrots. Bright and colorful. Glazed carrots were a sweet and simple addition to the holiday table. Coated in brown sugar and butter, they added a pop of color and a touch of elegance to the meal. Do you remember seeing them arranged perfectly in a serving dish, shining under the dining room lights? Pineapple upside-down cake, a retro dessert favorite. This moist, caramelized cake was topped with pineapple rings and maraschino cherries, creating a festive look that was perfect for Christmas. Served warm, it was a gooey, sweet treat that often disappeared in seconds. Who else remembers fighting for the piece with the most caramelized edges? Turkey tetrazzini. For families with leftover turkey, turkey tetrazzini was a post-Christmas favorite. Made with creamy pasta, chunks of turkey, and a sprinkle of breadcrumbs on top, it was a hearty, satisfying dish that extended the holiday feast. Did your family turn leftovers into this comforting casserole? Corn pudding. Sweet and savory, corn pudding was a Southern-inspired side dish that became a Christmas classic in the 70s. Made with corn kernels, eggs, milk, and a touch of sugar, it had a creamy texture that paired perfectly with ham or turkey. Do you remember sneaking an extra scoop of this golden delight? Cranberry relish. Homemade cranberry relish was a tangy alternative to the canned variety. Made with fresh cranberries, oranges, and a touch of sugar, it was bright, zesty, and a refreshing contrast to the heavier dishes on the table. Did your mom have a special recipe? Or did your family stick with the canned version? Christmas in the 1970s was about more than just the food. It was about the love, effort, and togetherness that went into every dish. From the show-stopping ham to those questionable Jell-O molds, every bite brought a sense of warmth and nostalgia. What about you? Do you remember any of these dishes from your family's Christmas dinners? Or is there a special recipe you'd like to share? Let us know in the comments, and let's celebrate those delicious memories together.